All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Horizon Overwatch Scrim Night. Very excited to bring you this one today. We're going to have a wonderful match for you. My name is Argner, and as always, I am with my wonderful co-host, Dancer. Dancer, how you feeling today?
I'm doing great. I'm happy. Good to be back behind the mic. We had some new casters, new friendly faces in. I'm just really happy, to be casting, especially this game. For those of you who don't know, Cloud9, one of the teams here today, basically made up of all coaches in Horizon staff. So it's a coach team versus practice. So you got the high mechanics versus the highly trained. This is gonna be a fun one, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be something that's very important to keep your eye on as this match progresses. So we have Cloud9, which is going to be the red team on attack first, and they've played together a lot. They have a lot of good game sense. People at 4K, 4.2, 4.5 and above, but they haven't really been together too long. So that's going to be interesting to see how that, the raw mechanical skill and just general game sense stacks up against Quasar on the defense in the blue. Who have been together for quite some time at this point. So it's really going to be a battle of, is team comp, is practice together as a team better than just raw skill? That's what we're going to be finding out today. Now, of course, on attack, you have Justin on Hanzo. This is something you're going to see a lot out of Justin. Justin is one of the better DPS that you will see playing in Horizon Overwatch. And I really like the Hanzo here. I think Hanzo's great. One of the best things about King's Row is there's so many different ways you can attack point A here. What we're going to be seeing from Justin is likely just trying to get some eyes on maybe Hotel with that Sonic Arrow by Hanzo. But then also don't expect him to switch off. He is a very, very strong Hanzo main. I don't want to say Hanzo main. He does everything well, but very, very strong Hanzo. So we might be seeing Justin stay on this at the very least until point A is capped. Doors are open, and the fight is about to begin.
And it's going to be really up to Imperi and Flutter to keep pressure on him if he chooses to take high ground. Looks like he's going for the flank here, but he will have to have some pressure put on him.
All right, Flutter really has to watch his head here because Hanzo can see him with that Sonic Arrow. It's going to be very, very tough for Flutter to stay alive on that Zenyatta when he has the Storm Bow coming in from the Hanzo. Not a whole lot going on here. A lot of damage being pushed back and forth. Nobody really wants to make that first mistake, but it looks like Julian's going to be the first one to walk in with that Reinhardt, swinging his hammer as much as possible, but the first kill going to Justin, getting the headshot, and then Luna already has a tire, uses it, pops off, gets two. That's going to be the death of this attack here. It's going to be a full reset coming in from Cloud9, so look to be potentially a lost fight there. With that headshot that came in from Hanzo was completely saved by Luna, who was able to get his tire within about 30 seconds, popped it off, and was getting the 2K to stop the attack.
But it does look like Crakes is pulling out his tire, and this could spell trouble for Quasar here.
Not a whole lot coming out from that one. Kills being traded back and forth, so nobody has a true advantage here except for the attackers. But just as I say that, kill come in, make that two for Crinkles, and then Justin comes in with a 2K of his own with the Dragon. That's going to be all she wrote for point A on attack here. Let's see if Justin chooses to stay on this very dominant Hanzo he's been showing so far. If he's going to be switching for the street space, I would expect Justin to stay, especially popping off like he did in that last fight.
And I want you to look at Crinkle's ult percentage. He engaged that fight with a tire, and then Nevi used his Graviton, and basically Crink built an entire ult again off of it. So although that tire didn't get much, it did put frontline pressure, and he basically has it back for free already. So that's very big. He's going to be able to get this in just early ult again.
Yeah, Crinkles expect him to be on the jump right, using that tire on cooldown. You can really just expect it to be popped right here. Yeah, he wants to open up space, give his tanks plenty of room to move. Gonna be holding it a little bit, try to bait out the enemy team, make them feel comfortable. Does not get the kill though because Imperi has a heads-up play, taking out the tire. And this is gonna be a fair fight here, but you gotta watch out for Kroger. He just used his hammer down, was not able to get a whole lot of value there. Julian with a great block, and it doesn't look like there's gonna be any push coming in from Cloud9 unless somebody on their team can pop off here. Flutter using a very interesting Transcendence there, and Luna pops off with the 3K. That's going to shut down, and we have seen Luna time and time again. This is at least 2 times within this short period of time that we've seen Luna completely shut down the attack. I was a little bit curious about Flutter's Transcendence there. I think he knew there wasn't too many great things to use it on coming from the attacking side. You know, there is the Graviton Surge, which would be smart to use it for, but maybe he felt a little bit pressure there, wanted to keep his tanks up, and did not know that, you know, that tire from Luna was going to be coming in and getting a 3K, so trying to stay safe, but in the end, might have wasted his Transcendence there.
And I mean, this can be a lot of trouble. If they get a big grab, Justin's Dragon's going to be uncontested with that damage, so... And it looks like they're not even going to need it. They know these are high skill players, so they know that, hey, it's a 6v3, we're not going to waste any ults, and they're just going to push up, basically keeping the pressure with Hanzo arrows, and just cleaning up the fight, buying all this space. So now they have that combo. If Quasar chooses to recontest, Nevi and Justin are probably just going to clean up the fight, knowing that Flutter doesn't have that ult. Although he is coming pretty close to it.
Yeah, he was actually able to build it back up, so Flutter is doing so much damage. He has his orb always healing somebody. Now he has his Transcendence back. It is online, so if that Graviton Surge does come in from Nevi and Justin throws the Dragon into it, there's no chance they're going to be able to kill anybody through the Transcendence from Zenyatta unless everybody's there pumping damage. Remember, Transcendence does not make your team invulnerable. It offers 300 healing per second, which is a lot, but it can be, you know, outdone. And a hammer comes in, big hammer from Julian, but not getting a whole lot of value. Justin there says no thank you.
It looks like Cloud9 is coming out on top of this fight. Really weird with that, with Julian doing that flanking hammer. It looked like they were prepared for it, so he didn't get much follow-up, and he left his team to get basically free ulted by Krogger, knocked down 2 of them, and they clean up the fight on the front line.
Graviton Surge just to keep everybody in spawn so nobody can come out and touch, but the left side has Luna coming out with the tire, and the tire's taken out by Justin, who also got 2 kills prior to that. Justin is 100% carrying his team, and what we thought might be the quick Hanzo switch off of point A, once point A was capped on attack, has Justin remaining on the Hanzo throughout the entire map down to the Omnic City, and putting so much pressure on the enemy team. You know, one of the things that we talk about a lot with King's Road Dancer is how important the tanks are as far as dictating the pace of the battle, and we saw Julian try to do that. He was trying to open up space, make a little bit of room for his team. That becomes very difficult when you still have a Hanzo who has scatter, able to just completely tear through your shield, and even if he's not tearing through your shield, he's just hitting these headshots, taking out the Zarya, taking out the Reinhardt, and essentially making these tanks a complete non-starter for the defense on Quasar. So it's going to be very interesting to see. You know, Justin is unlikely to stay on Hanzo for the defense here. It's a little bit tougher on defense for Hanzo. It's much more aggressive positioning comes in from the attack Hanzo. Defense Hanzo is not going to be the same thing. But I wonder if Quasar's a little bit shaken by, you know, how confident that Hanzo performance was and how much damage they were taking throughout that entire series of fights.
100%. I agree. The Hanzo was so clutch there, and we even saw stage 2. They basically won it off just Hanzo headshots. They didn't have to invest really any ults for that second fight, and the second fight can be the hardest part. So absolutely clutch going so big there when he's just nailing those headshots. They get the stagger after stagger, so big. You gotta love that Hanzo play, especially on attack. You have that time. If you lose a fight on attack, it's not a big deal. You can just get picks the next one and go. If you lose it with Hanzo on defense, now that's a bigger deal because your every fight kind of matters a little bit more on defense, whereas attacking you get that chance to reset.
And Hanzo does not do very well when the other team is snowballing into him, so that's why we see the switch onto the McCree here. But I want you to take a look at what Quasar is doing here. This is classic Quasar strategy here. They're going to open up with the Doomfist, and what the Doomfist is going to allow you to do is punch back the enemy team's Reinhardt. You know it's King Rose, so they're going to have a Reinhardt, but
no.
Luna goes down very quickly, so it's going to be a full reset. You do not want to push in this early and give ultimates to the defending team, but just keep your eye on that Doomfist. He's going to be very critical in opening up space, allowing Julian to get that purchase onto the point so the rest of his team can walk in behind him. So now we have Quasar walking in. Watch out for this Doomfist punch. It should be coming in. Bubble was used by Zarya, so Doomfist might be at a disadvantage here.
No.
Justin again popping off, getting a 2K.
What?
Getting a 3K.
Justin
will not stop.
They're making the crucial mistake of putting their hitboxes in front of Justin. Like, this is just insane play. For Quasar to beat this defense, they have to kill Justin. If he's playing like this, they're going to be in so much trouble. I mean, put the bubble on Doomfist, have him dive in, and then just kill Justin. The Pharah focus him too. You need to kill him, and then Pharah is kind of roaming around free, and you're going to have a much easier deal. But they are swapping off the Doomfist here, going for a different strategy.
This is the Maywall Bastion strategy. So what the Maywall does is she's going to open up space, let Bastion get set up, but it's not going to do enough because so much damage gets pumped into that Bastion. He's the first one to die in the fight. Justin gets free range over high ground. Nobody's able to stop him. And one of the biggest problems that Quasar is going to face is, you know, yes, of course, Justin is doing all this work. The problem is if you spend too many resources even getting to Justin, if you want to start focusing on him, well, now you have Crinkles on that Junkrat just pumping damage into your team, about to pop his tire. You've got 2 tanks on the defending side here, both coming up with their tank ultimates. It's very difficult when you have such a high caliber DPS to know where to look, because the moment you look at Justin, Crinkles is right behind.
Oh, and it looks like Nevi got caught out behind the wall there. That's going to be so big. Imperi now has positioning. Joey did waste his shift, so Justin will get a bit of free damage here, but... oh, this fight could go either way.
Going either way, kills are being traded back and forth, and just like I said, now Crinkles is able to take out Imperi. That is huge because Imperi is doing so much damage here that it's going to be very difficult to keep anybody dead on the defending side if you don't have your Bastion there. That's kind of the whole point of this team comp, so let's see if the Stragglers are able to do anything. Not so much with Justin there. Joey's trying to stay alive here. I don't think he's going to make it out. He's probably going to want to die as fast as possible.
Oh, no. Dying 4 minutes late. That's so rough. They're gonna have to wait so long to get another push here, waiting in spawn, and they won't even kill him. They're not gonna mercifully end his life. Ouch, that's so rough. You basically lost an entire push off Joey not being able to get out earlier.
All right, so now we have to see, you know, what's the attack going to look like? You have a minute left, but you know that the enemy team, the defending team, Nevi has that Graviton Surge, so you probably want to do a dry run here. Walk in, let Nevi try to bait out that Graviton Surge, die as quickly as possible, and then push in with your ultimates. If you try to walk in right now as Quasar and blow all your ultimates on this push right here, it might not go that well.
And the thing is, they switched to dive. I think that's in a response to Justin. He's just been living for all of these fights. Even when Quasar had the picks, the fact that Justin was on high ground and no one could contest him just allowed him to pump out so much damage. And you can see they denied that high ground control.
Finally, Justin being taken out. Julian just throwing his body at the problem, and then Little Spoon coming up, getting the kill. This is going to be very interesting. Flutter tries to pop his ultimate, cannot.
Oh, no.
Loses his ultimate charge there, and any chance that they had, any chance that Quasar had of getting one more attack in here has been completely destroyed. This is going to be very difficult. I don't even know if anybody's going to respawn in time enough, and even if they do, there are no ultimates coming in, and Nevi still has that Graviton Surge.
And this tire doing the same thing, just making it rougher. Wow, what a stellar defense by Cloud9.
But here's the thing that you have to keep in mind. So Quasar did have one really good attack there. Remember, Crinkles had popped his tire, and Imperi on the Bastion was able to take out the tire and able to take out Nevi, who was on that Zarya. But it just goes to show you how strong Cloud9 is. Even when they don't have their main damage dealer in the fight, even when they lose, even when they don't have their tank in the fight, they lose on that damage dealing ultimate. They're still able to stop you when you try to push in.
That was just such a good... I love seeing Kings Row first point defenses, because as soon as the defense wins that first fight, it really feels like an uphill battle to win that. Like, you have to, like you said, they would have had to force out Nevi's ult early, because that's basically a guaranteed team wipe. Then in that time, if Krogger had been able to build his ult, it would have been almost a guaranteed second team fight. I think one thing that Quasar did do right is they swapped to dive, right when you said they have a possibility of getting 2 fights. The idea behind swapping to dive there is, first of all, you have to dislodge Justin. But second of all, it's the best way to get 2 fights, because dive typically wins or loses a fight instantly. So the idea is, hey, let's swap to dive and maybe we'll get 2 fights in. Unfortunately, they didn't, but I think that was a right call. A really good comp swap there. I think they're all on the same page. And that's where you see the things that a team just knows. That shot caller, everyone knows what to do. Right away they do it. They don't lose time on those swaps.
Well, and we've seen this so many times before. You know, when you're going up when you're going up against a team that has superior just superior firepower overall, especially with Justin. You know, that McCree game was absolutely fantastic. When you're walking into that, the question has to be, okay, we can't out 1v1 this team. So what can we do? What team comp or what positioning, what angle can we take onto the fight? It's maybe a little bit unconventional that they're not prepared for necessarily to get them off their game, to get Cloud9 kind of backpedaling, and then that's when you go for the jugular. So it's going to be very interesting to see, you know, Quasar, you know, they did get stepped on a little bit there on King's Road, but don't count them out. Lijiang Tower is another very classic map. We've seen Quasar do Lijiang plenty of times. I do expect to see some fireworks here, but then again, you can't count out what Cloud9 is able to do. Unlikely to stay on that Torbjorn. I will say that, you know, Nevi's just given us a little bit of a show here, but I am curious to see what Cloud9 comes with. Again, they haven't been a team for very long. I don't know how many strategies that they've come up with collectively as a team to build to each of their strengths, but that's why I'm very curious to see on a King of the Hill map. This is going to be very, very fight dependent. The team that wins the first fight is likely to get the percentage as high up as, you know, 99%, maybe 100% without being contested, because the moment you win that first fight, you have the ultimate advantage over the enemy team, and then you're able to snowball that into more victories moving forward. So this is going to be crucial for Quasar. It's very important that they don't give up any ultimate advantage to, you know, Cloud9. The moment Cloud9, if they win this first fight, it's going to be an uphill battle for Quasar.
And it looks like Quasar's running the Zenyatta instead of the Mercy, so that can be really big. You're going for burst instead of sustain, so Quasar's gonna have to win the fight early, or they're gonna lose it with sustain. That res and that extra healing is gonna put it over the top, definitely in Cloud9's advantage. To Cloud9's advantage.
So it looks like it's going to be dive versus dive here, and both teams taking completely different tactics here. Looks like Quasar's going for the, you know, out in the open strategy. It's going to be very tough if Justin's coming up to your Zenyatta on the Tracer, but he gets it, peels for days. So it doesn't look like this is going to be an easy job for Justin. He's going to be permanently discorded, and the first kill is actually going against Julian. Make that the second kill, and just like that, the moment we see Julian kind of pecking at that Zenyatta, forcing the rest of the team to go back and protect their Zenyatta, that's when the rest of the team, and this is what we said before, that's when the rest of the team is able to fill that void. You put too many resources into paying attention to Justin, and you lose sight of Nevi, you lose sight of Crinkles, you lose sight of Krogger, who are able to walk in and just do that sustained damage and take down your team.
I'm going to tell you this right now, Art. Justin, although he never got a pick, he never even got a chance to really go in deep, he stole the Discord. That's massive. We already talked about Quasar's win condition here is burst damage. If the Discord is on someone that the team isn't focusing, they're losing so much value. Both healers were wasted on peeling Justin and never killed him.
And the first kill is coming in on this team fight onto Flutter. Justin's just going to be using that pulse bomb on cooldown. Just so close to getting that mega, but he does get taken down by Luna finally. It's not going to matter here because most of the kills are going in the way of Cloud9. So now let's take a look at, you know, what do you expect to see in the next fight? Well, you expect to see a lot of ultimates coming from Cloud9, but here's the thing about Cloud9. They're a very high-level team, very smart players, so they're unlikely to blow everything all at once. You might see one, maybe two ultimates popped out here from Cloud9, and the question is, what is Quasar going to do if they get a beat late in their face and Imperi goes down? Nevi had the right angle, getting 3 shurikens directly into the head of Imperi. Take a seat. This is 70% capture. I don't even know if Quasar's going to be able to contest it. Certainly not now with Flutter going down, too. This is really, I mean, the wheels are falling off the wagon here.
I think there's a little bit of a debate going on here. I think they wanted to go in, didn't want to go in. And we'll find this
coming out from Nevi. He's looking to get as much damage in as possible, but the beat is dropped coming in from Quasar, trying to buy them as much time as possible. Nevi's not able to get too much damage there, but he is fine with that trade. He traded his blade for the enemy team's beat. That is a fine trade if you're a Genji. Oh no, Luna missed his shift, got stuck in there, stuck in the room with the Diva Bomb. And, you know, that's exactly what we expected to see. The moment the first fight was won, that came in from Cloud9, it was so hard for Quasar to come back from that. They were at a constant ultimate disadvantage. A few unlucky things happened, of course, Nevi taking out Imperi, Nevi on Cloud9 taking out Imperi with that just absolutely gorgeous right click to the Tracer's head. So maybe it was a few unlucky moments there, bad positioning. I think overall Quasar's probably not going to be too worried about that map. It's okay to drop a map, but this is exactly what we talked about with the last one. You have to win the first fight if you're Quasar. Without that advantage, it is going to be almost impossible for you to take any percentage point onto the onto control point here.
And we see Justin on the Hanzo. That's so unconventional on this map. I guess you will basically have an uncontested high ground, but in this first fight, I don't see them having an advantage. Unless you're
being traded back and forth, and now Justin gets a scatter kill. That is coming out on the PTR. There is no more scatter, but right now we're on live, and scatter is still here. And Julian found out the hard way that scatter is still around.
And I didn't get to finish my sentence there, Ark. Justin's gonna have a hard time getting value unless there's a pin on the Reinhardt instantly and no shield in the fight. That was so massive.
That's exactly what we saw. And another scatter kill coming in. Imperi is not having a good day. When we see Justin put this bow in his hands, it is very dangerous to walk into that. And this is, again, another nightmare scenario for Quasar. And the parting headshot. Good night, Luna. This is the nightmare scenario because now take a look at the ultimates. What is Quasar going to do to win this next point? Maybe if they can get a fat tire. We've seen Luna get some pretty incredible tires, but this one's going to have to be huge to put a dent into the defense that Cloud9 is putting up right now.
I think, oh no!
Another amazing headshot coming in. This is just incredible. Finally taken out by a lucky charge. Julian, I'm going to say that was calculated for you, buddy. Took out Nevi, got Justin out of the fight. But now, see, this is what we see. Crinkles is now popping off. Here comes the tire. Who are you going to get? One Lucio was more than enough. This might be enough to turn the tides in your favorite Quasar. This is your moment. This fight is lost by Quasar. They have to walk in and get that point. And they do. Julian is standing firm on the point. Gets the cap. 40% only is actually being taken by Cloud9 here. That is fantastic. This is the shot in the arm that Quasar needed. Now the question is, you have no more ultimates as Quasar. What are you going to do to survive this next onslaught? Because Nevi's walking in, going to have that Graviton Surge very fast, and you don't have an answer.
Yeah, this is going to be really brutal. Flutter's so far away from that ult, and you just know Crinkles is going to jump in and pump all the damage in, so...
Graviton Surge is out, doesn't really need the Dragon there because the rest of the team is pumping in so much damage. And take a look at Nevi. He had 90% energy going into that fight. He could have 1v5 that Graviton Surge, but as it happened, his entire team was there, followed up, got the damage in, and now Nevi is back up at 100 energy. This is what you should be scared of. It's not so much just the DPS. When you get Zarya, who's pumping out all that damage, she's another DPS that you have to deal with, and she's a tank, and she has that Graviton Surge, and then of course Justin just taking pot shots, getting headshots all day long.
And that's so me, just going around the left side. You're not going to have a shield in place to stop that, so I'm going to say that was a little bit of a mistake on Imperius' side. He was standing still, got the arrow to the head to punish it. Oh man, this Hanzo play, I didn't expect it, but this is something else.
And I really don't like the tactic that Quasar's coming in with. They keep going in this front door. Remember, there are side doors that you can take to get to this point. Luna doesn't need it, though, because he is able to take out two. Taking out the enemy team's Lucio was such a huge deal here. Lucio was able to get the beat, I think, but now Imperi's getting a 2K. This is going to be one of the wildest fights that you're liable to see on this channel right here. Is Justin going to be able to keep Quasar at bay long enough to get this to 100%?
Oh no!
Walking in with no respect whatsoever for that Reinhardt shield, takes him out, looking to use his Dragon Blade, but Luna comes in from behind, getting the kill. This is another chance for Quasar. Slim chance, but this is all they've had so far in this scrim. They need to take these opportunities and cap that point.
And this is so rough. I mean, it looks like they might actually be winning with a respawn advantage. They have the Moira in place, so they have to sustain here. And they should take this fight, but how much are they going to invest? Like,
and Justin getting a lucky Dragon kill that was not calculated. That came in, and oh, not like this! That was your fight to lose, Quasar. They step off the point. Overtime had been running on for a little bit there. Maybe they weren't prepared for how fast that overtime counter was going to burn down to the end. But just like that, second map going to Cloud9.
And that's so rough. You get the Julian hammer. I just said how much more they're going to invest. They invest one of the more stronger ults, and then they have to walk off point to follow up on it. So that's a classic case of your Cloud9 there. Oh, that's so rough.
Yeah, and Cloud9 is pretty happy that it didn't go their way, given their namesake. But now we're going to see, looks like the Battle of the Monkeys. So people are pretty much confident in what they want to do here. We're going to be seeing dive coming from both sides, and we're going to be seeing pharmacy be coming in from both sides. So this is going to be very interesting. What Farah is going to be hopefully getting that boot first to take the enemy team at a disadvantage and win the fight right away. And it's going to be Luna getting in a fantastic air shot onto Nevi. Nevi was not expecting that. Luna getting so much coverage in the air, able to take out as anybody that he's looking down on. And now Joey's able to walk in, and that's all because not only was Luna able to get that first kill onto the enemy Pharaoh, which was a huge deal, by getting that kill, you own the skies, and you're just pumping damage down onto everybody who's on the ground. No chance for Cloud9 to be able to get any sort of fight going on that point, and this is what Quasar needed. They needed to get that first fight win, and they have. How are they going to use it?
And the thing that's stronger about Quasar, we do see the swap onto Zenyatta here, but what they would do is they were discording the Pharah and then damage boosting, so it's a one-shot direct hit to kill Nevi here, which is why he died so quickly.
And with the two-tap, Nevi says, I'm the better Pharah. I'm going to show you what's what. Now, Nevi is holding the skies down, but Imperi has the ground, getting a 2K of his own on that Tracer, so Quasar is not going gently into that good night. They're putting out as much damage as possible, clinging on to this point. They refuse to let Cloud9 even get 1 percentage point.
And they're actually buying so much space. Everyone's staying on the point, so Nevi can't get that much damage in. And the tanks are the ones actually just consistently diving and denying the bridge. So Nevi's team can't walk in with him. Cloud9 denied all that space. Oh, and that's going to be brutal.
This is going to have to be a full reset. And notice, Justin, he's been doing the correct thing on Tracer. He's using his Tracer Bomb on cooldown. The problem is Justin has not been popping off like we've seen in previous rounds. I don't think he's gotten 1 kill on, I believe, 2 Tracer Bombs at this point. So, now we're a little bit more even with each of the fights coming in. I'm sorry, each team coming in with several ultimates. This is going to be very interesting to see who uses them better. It's not going to be Crinkles, though, because he's taken out very quickly by Julian.
Wow, and Cloud9 just being taken advantage of here, but Crinkles!
And oh my god, Crinkles with the 4K! Huge high noon, and that is exactly what his team needed. That high noon may have saved this point.
And it's still a struggle.
Yeah, if anybody can get in here, the point has not been captured for Cloud9. Even with that 5K, now Justin's on the Widow, he's angry, and he's going to the best hit scan character he has, which of course is going to be Widow. Watch out, because he is aiming for your head. Now Nevi is responding to getting a 2K of his own. So many ultimates being used on both sides. I think Cloud9 used everything they had in the bag, except for Kroger's Winston ultimate, and now Crinkles is already back to another high noon after that fantastic 4K we saw just about 30 seconds ago.
And I think what you're going to have to do here if you're Quasar is just get the 6 ults. You have so much time. You maybe shouldn't have invested all those ults into stalling. I do see where their heads were at because it looked so winnable after that Transcendence, but I think build the 6 ults. Don't commit unless something like this happens.
With both kills going onto the enemy team's healers, this is the moment in time that Quasar needed to walk into this point and own it. Kroger is trying to do as much damage as possible, trying to get Flutter off the edge, and Flutter takes him down with the Discord.
That's rough. You send your Winston into spawn camp and he gets killed. Wow. Flutter with the outplay there. Good job.
Fantastic job by Flutter there. And, something that has to be said is how phenomenal the healers are. I really want to point out Cloud9. We talked about Justin, we talked about Crinkles, obviously Nevi doing a lot of work. A couple of unsung heroes here. Both Shino and Alteza are just such smart healers. They stay alive in these fights. Now, if they get picked off first, that's a huge deal. But what's enabling Justin to do so much damage, what's enabling Nevi to get these high charges, is he's being pocketed by his healers, and they're pocketing each other anytime they're in trouble. These healers are staying alive, and that is the most crucial thing you can do as a healer. Stay alive in the fight and give your team a fighting chance. Enable your DPS to carry the fight.
Totally, and I was gonna say, like, the difference between Quasar and Cloud9, So Cloud9 is going with the Mercy more often than not. Alteza has been kind of clung to that hero. And here's the thing. We said Cloud9, where they're going to have the advantage, is a lot of them, they have a big SR advantage. A lot of them are going to be mechanically more talented. Mercy is a self-peel hero. So we're seeing Alteza kind of being left alone, doesn't need that many peels. Worst case scenario, Shino just picks the Zen and throws an orb on him, and you're done. You don't even have to focus him. You don't have to help him whatsoever. So it's this complete self-value that he's getting. Whereas the Quasar side, they're running the Zen with the Lucio. So Lucio's always having to sit back, protect the Zen, which means he, a lot of the time, isn't able to help out his team. So that's where your value is kind of coming in. You're picking heroes where individual value is gonna outshine team value. And I think that's really smart. We do know that Cloud9 is a brand new team. They haven't even had a roster lock yet, waiting on week 5 of Open Division to do that. So I think that's a smart play. You just kind of play a little bit more individually. We're not seeing them throw teamwork out the door, just losing a lot of the synergies that require months and months of playing together.
Absolutely. And, you know, I want to take a look at something you just mentioned. I never really thought until this moment how strong it is to have a Mercy Zenyatta combo. Now, you know, there's so many combos you can do. That's why we love Overwatch. There's just so much you can do with the game. What you lose out is you don't have as much, you know, obviously you don't have the Lucio, let's say, to give you those speed boosts. But if you are a flanker trying to focus down a Mercy Zenyatta combo, let's say, for example, you were Justin on that Tracer, it's very difficult, one, to pick out a target. You're probably going to pick out the Zen, but then again, you're going to get discorded and 60 heals per second coming in from the Mercy. So, plus the shields are regenerating if you don't hit the Zenyatta, you know, for long enough periods of time. So that's a very, very strong combo. Little Spoon doesn't agree. Changing onto the Moira, another strong combo. It's going to be interesting to see which Zenyatta is going to out-frag the other one. We saw Flutter take care of Krager on that Monkey last time, using the Winston with the Primal Rage. Flutter was not scared at all. Let's see if Flutter's able to carry once again on Zenyatta.
And I'm really scared here because they're picking Shino. Luckily, it looks like Quasar's actually backing off into the background. But you can lose a lot of that Moira potential if on the offensive side, defense chooses to hold high ground.
That is not what Cloud9 needed to see there. Justin, one of their strongest DPS, going out very quickly to a headshot from the Fury. So this is going to be all on Nevi to see if he can get any picks, equalize this fight here. Again, not going to help. You're getting so many picks coming in from Cloud9. This is not the same Cloud9 we saw before. A little bit shabby there. I think they got a little bit disheveled once Justin went down there. So now there's going to have to be a full reset, and a minute off the clock was wasted for Cloud9. Now they're at 3 minutes left and essentially haven't pushed the cart anywhere.
And that's what happens when your support line's actually able to help your team. A lot of the time, Justin's been putting so much pressure that the support line on Quasar's side has had to peel and haven't really been able to do their jobs. He dies early, they win the fight so convincingly because they actually have that full team and the man advantage.
Now Little Spoon has that Coalescence ready, looking to fire it here, but it's not going to do a whole lot of good when 3 go down on your team. Make that 4, and Coalescence is not going to save you now. Better not to even use it. It's just going to be a waste at this point. Smartly dying on the point. No real need to do anything else in that situation. And this is the aggression that you can expect from Cloud9. You know, they took that full reset and they completely walked back in and just smashed into Quasar with no regard for, you know, being scared. They weren't even worried about the McCree because they just walked in so fast that McCree wasn't able to do anything to stop them. So now we're seeing a switch coming in from Quasar on defense. They're going to be switching on a Streets phase, which I think is very smart. A little bit more of a dive. Luna's going to be on that Genji trying to get as much value as possible, picking off low health targets.
And one thing I love about Cloud9 as a team is Nevi and Crinkles are both really good flex players, flexing to the off-tank and damage. So they have such a wide roster of what they can run. We saw that triple damage. We're seeing the Pharah comps coming out with Nevi. He's also playing a really good Genji this week, so this stuff's so big.
Here's one of the problems that Quasar is going to find themselves in. Either you need to kill Nevi right now, or you need to kill everybody on the ground. if you just have these slow kind of rolls, that there was no real dive that came in from Quasar there. They got a little bit almost spawn camp there, and it allowed Nevi to do essentially whatever he wanted in the sky. So either win the fight on the ground and then kill Nevi, or get somebody who can focus Nevi out of the sky, because right now he is completely unanswered. Joey has not been able to deal with him, and Nevi is posing a huge threat to your team.
And this is so brutal. Like, the Tracer caught out trying to spawn camp. Mercy gets saved, and now this is just an ungrouped fight.
Yeah, this does not look like it's going to be going very well for Cloud9. They're a little bit disheveled here, but now Nevi is able to make it back, gets the kill on the Little Spoon. That is such a huge deal. But not if Flutter comes and gets kill of his own. Now we're having kills being traded back and forth. Is Flutter going to be able to carry his team to victory? Take out that Mercy. You got it, Flutter. Who's next? Apparently Flutter is next, because Nevi is still unchecked in this, guys. Drops the damage down. Nevi might be switching here, which is a pretty smart choice, because there's not a whole lot of value you're going to get from the Pharah in this enclosed area. The enemy team has so much access to high ground. You're kind of like a Junkrat who can only shoot straight, and you're not doing too much work there.
Yeah, and one of the things, I talked to Crinkles a little bit before this cast, and he told me one of the things to watch for is Nevi actually has really, really clean, really big blades. So they do really respect Nevi's Genji play. Smart swap here. I think he's going to be able to do a lot of work.
Quasar opens up with 2 kills on the enemy teams, on the defending team's healers. This is going to be pretty much lights out for Cloud9. Nevi's going to try to get as much ult as possible before he makes it out. So fast. That's what I'm loving about these fights that we're seeing. They're initiated so quickly, and the winner of these fights is decided within essentially the first 5 seconds, because, you know, Quasar has a very strong dive. If they can get everybody on the same page, all of their team going to the same place at the same time, it's very difficult. And then Flutter pops up once again, right-clicking Nevi into oblivion.
And Alteza getting out with almost no health. That was so close. It forced Chino actually to pop the ult just to top him up and save him there.
Yeah, and even with that right click, it looks like nobody else on Quasar was ready to follow up on that. It would have been great if somebody was able to get that high ground control, take out the Mercy, but as it stands right now, Cloud9 has very handily won this fight. Little Spoon knows what's happening next, stands still, waits for sweet, sweet death.
And they do still have a chance here. Flutter does have his Transcendence. If they can hold it, Nevi ults, they might be able to buy time, but oh no.
This is exactly what Nevi wanted to see. Flutter has used his Transcendence. Now watch Nevi. He's going to wait very patiently. Trance is done, and here comes the blade.
And I love seeing this. The Discord targets on what he's trying to sword right away. That's so clean. It's so hard to stop a Genji when he's paired up with that Zenyatta, and they're actually teaming up.
That is such a hard position to be in as the defending Zenyatta. Do you pop your ultimate there to keep your tanks up, or do you save it for the Genji blade, which you're pretty sure is coming your way? I don't think there's a right answer there. You know, if you let your tanks die, you're probably going to lose that point right there and then. But if you pop Trance to keep your tanks alive, well, then Nevi just comes in on the back of it. I guess maybe you pop the Trance there, hope that somebody's able to take out the Genji before he gets full value out of the blade.
Yeah, and I think that's the only thing you can do. A lot of the time when I'm playing Zenyatta, even if it's in a scrim, if I have to pop my Transcendence early, I'm not yelling Trancing, I'm yelling kill the Genji, for that exact reason. If Genji doesn't die that fight, it's probably over. Especially Transcendence gives your team the confidence to walk in, and typically they walk in out of position. So if you do pop that Transcendence, you're encouraging your team to get out of position. You're going to be in the middle of the battlefield. As soon as it ends, Genji's going to pick you up. He might not even have to pop the blade to do so.
All right, so interesting team comp we're seeing here. Now, take a look at Justin. I can't confirm this, and don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure Justin only picks Widow when he gets mad at the enemy team. I think Justin's mad here because his Widow is so clean, you know, smooth as silk, and it's on defense here. Now, here's the problem with Widow defense. If you're hitting your shots, you're a god, you're going to full hold them on point A. They're not even going to be able to get to the doors. The problem is the moment you miss a couple of those shots as Widow, you're not applying any pressure to the front lines. If you're missing those shots, the enemy team's able to just walk in and take out your tanks. You're not a McCree there who's able to flashbang the Roadhog who's walking in, right? So this is going to be completely reliant on Justin hitting his shots. He doesn't need to get the kills all by himself. If he's able to do enough damage, even hitting those body shots, then Crinkle's able to walk in getting some lucky grenades. Nevi's able to walk in and get a hook. You know, there's so much. I mean, even Shino can throw that orb out there that Moira orb and do, you know, that excess damage to take out the enemy team. So this is going to be all up to Justin. Is he going to hit these shots here, or is Quasar going to walk in for free?
Quasar has nothing to apply pressure to this Widow too, though. If you look at their team comp, almost nothing's going to be able to get back to him. They don't even have a D.Va to try and eat shots, so he's going to have all the space and time in the world.
This is very interesting. We saw Imperi on that Doomfist when it was attack on King's Row. I'm not sure what he's trying to accomplish. Probably the same type of thing, but maybe he was expecting to see a Reinhardt. It's much, much harder to push into an enemy Orisa if you're the... Well, as soon as I say that, he's not going for the Orisa. He's going for the backline, taking out 2 kills, but then finally being taken out by Justin. Justin hitting the shots, trying to keep his team afloat. Flutter's able to get the next kill. This is looking like it's going all the way in the form of Quasar, but as soon as I say that, 3 more kills come in for Cloud9. This is a wild fight. I think this might be a full reset, but if Quasar is quick, they will be able to get maybe a 4, maybe a 5-man push before the defense reinforcements are able to engage onto the fight.
And I don't think I've seen Justin's health bar go underneath 200 yet. Like I said, just no pressure being able to be applied. And he hit the shots there at the end when he needed to give his team the reset and Nevi the space to kind of walk in and go for those free hooks.
All right, watch out. Crinkles does have his tire here. He is going to pop it, trying to make as much space as possible and hopefully get a few kills as he's doing it. You know, and there go the 2 kills right there, but Imperi fires back, getting a kill on the Crinkles, who is completely defenseless, using his tire at the time. Imperi does get the free kill. I don't know if it's going to do anything for Quasar.
Oh, and Imperi has to be killed here. He's extending. Okay, that's a good job. They have so much to deal with the Doomfist. I'm going to want to see the swap here. I don't care that he has ult. It's just... he's not going to be able to do anything. They have the Roadhog hook. They have that long distance damage. He's not even able to walk in without Justin getting at least a body shot on him. So I don't think you stay with it. Even if you have the combo with Joey to get that space gem, the comp's just not going to work.
Can I tell you something scary here, Dancer? Justin's not even warmed up yet. That's what's scary.
This isn't even his final form. He's hitting the shots, but he's not as consistent as I think I've seen him. He's definitely better than most Widows I have in my online games, but...
but watch out, because we got 4 ultimates coming in for Quasar. It's not going to do a whole lot of work if Imperi's dead. Not able to use his ultimate. Now Julian goes down. This is going to be another full reset. A minute 30. If you play your cards right, you might get as much as 3 more fights. Potentially one of those in overtime if needed. But now we're coming up on almost 5 ultimates from Quasar. So here's the question. Are they going to slow it down and wait for the Space Gem, which of course is Graviton Surge plus the Doomfist ultimate? Or are they going to spread these out and try to use that Doomfist, open the fight, dive in there with all your abilities, and then use your Meteor Strike to get out or maybe confirm that kill on the way out?
And this is so rough. I want to see a swapped comp here. Like, oh, and it's so rough to see this.
This is when you get in that situation of, okay, I have my ultimate. Is it worth it? Right? We've got 45 seconds left. Am I going to be able to do anything with this Zarya? First of all, am I going to be able to build this Zarya ultimate in time? I've been getting, if you're Joey, you've been getting pressured so hard. I don't think he's built 1 Graviton Surge yet.
Yeah, I think we got to measure the amount of ults he's gotten with AKM blades on this one.
There's no need for that kind of BM, but now all of a sudden kills are coming in. Only 1 kill there. Don't be too worried, because Little Spoon was able to get a kill onto Kroger's Bongo, but it's not really going to do too much. It is going to save your team a lot of damage, but kills are being traded back and forth, and this is not looking well for Quasar. Finally, it looks like Lucio was able to take out the Widow. That's kind of unconventional, but you know, Flutter's an unconventional support. He's doing more damage than I think any Lucio I've seen has done, and he's being pocketed by his Moira. Is Lucio going to be able to stay on the point for long enough, open it up for Imperi, and just like that, Fluttershy has once again carried his team to another team fight victory, and even more importantly, allowed his team to capture point 1 in overtime. Fantastic job by Flutter there, staying alive. That's what we talked about earlier. That was so strong from Cloud9. Flutter is so good at staying alive, and he had Little Spoon peeling for him, throwing out that orb, keeping him alive long enough for that Doomfist to get back and help cap the point.
And I mean, the problem with this defense, or with this offense.
Beautiful headshot by Justin. Now he's starting to get warmed up.
This is trouble. Like, you gotta dive this guy. He's doing whatever he wants and he's hitting the shots. This is so rough.
Quasar does seem to have the right idea. We have Julian on that Winston. I expect Joey, I would really expect Joey to switch onto a D.Va here, even though he has a Graviton Surge.
I don't think he's going to do it.
Fight. Let's say let's play this out, Dancer. You win a fight with that Graviton Surge, right? It's going to be, what, 45 seconds left in the round, 30 seconds left in the round. Now the problem is you're still Zarya, who has not been working this whole time, and the enemy team has plenty of time. They can even wait until overtime. You're not even close to the next point to just walk in and take you out of Zarya. So it's going to be potentially a fantastic Graviton Surge, but then what happens next?
And look at this. They run the double hit scan. Are they even going to get a follow-up up here? Oh, that's rough.
And this, again, another nightmare scenario. So this is even worse than I thought would happen. The Graviton Surge didn't get any kills from Cloud9. Cloud9, you know, Crinkles was just popping off, stopping the Scientist from going in, flashbanging him, right-click. Scientist is out of commission. And now we're seeing Joey switch on to the D.Va, but here's your problem. You've got 30 seconds left in the round. What is this D.Va gonna do for you? She's not gonna be able to build up that ult. Hopefully you get that dive going as strongly as possible to get you some sort of momentum going into overtime.
And they're chasing the Tracer. Oh, what a stagger.
Poor Imperi! It was the great escape, finally stopped by Crinkles.
And I thought that chase was a little bit of a feed, but I guess it turns out.
No hiding from that one, Luna. We saw you Flutter dropping the beat, but it might not be enough. 10 seconds left in the round. 3 people down already for Quasar, and it looks like Flutter's not going to be able to survive this time. Justin knew where the target was. Do not let Flutter live because he can carry games by himself, and that is a full team kill coming in on the side of Cloud9 onto Quasar. So, you know, what we originally thought was going to be a full hold on to point 1, you got to give it to the gumption that came in from Quasar, able to stay alive for long enough in overtime. Of course, props to Flutter on that one, and of course, Little Spoon, who helped keep him alive, to enable Imperi to come back on that Doomfist and help cap the point. That was fantastic, but then it got a little bit sloppy going into Streets phase. I would have loved to have seen that D.Va switch earlier. You know, even, again, we said this before, even if that Graviton Surge had killed anybody, let's say it got a 6K, it wouldn't have mattered because you would have been in the same problem going into the next fight. You have a Zarya who has no value in the Streets phase.
And I'm going to paint you a nightmare scenario here. Okay, let's say hypothetically you have 2 god tier DPS hit scan mains. If they get high ground for free and are able to shoot at you all game,
okay,
you don't have a D.Va to contest them. That is my nightmare scenario. They just did that.
I feel like I just saw something similar to that. I don't know where, but I feel like I just witnessed something like that.
6 minutes of no D.Va to contest a Widow that was hitting shots, and we even saw Crinkles acknowledged and noticed that, hey, they're not contesting high ground, and that point 2 has such an important high ground. He even switches to McCree to get a second hit scan because that's how much value they were getting out of their first. So now it's even harder to dive them because anyone that can get up there, the monkey who would have to go alone, he now has 0 peels against a flashbang and a Widow who's hitting her shots. That is such a nightmare scenario. Your win condition is killing the hit scan. We saw so many times where Quasar definitely won the fight. I think we have no doubt that Quasar won more than one of the fights there. But the reason they never pushed it is because Justin stayed there and would just hit headshot after headshot after headshot. And he can stay there until his whole team comes back. He doesn't need any space because you have nothing to deny it to him. So that was so big. I would have wanted to see the swap to dive a lot earlier there. The Doomfist did a bit of work on the front line, but just not worth it to have that Widow uncontested that long.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And if you know you're looking so deep in your bench that you need your Lucio to take out the Widowmaker, it's probably not a good way to take on that battle. Now, this is going to be interesting here. You know, we've seen Quasar on Oasis many times, and we know one of the things that Quasar likes to do is they like to take the low ground on the opposite side of the center pillar that's on point. So even if the enemy team takes high ground, you bait them onto the point. They have to touch to contest, and then you dive onto them. We know Quasar likes this type of dive, a little bit of a counter dive type scenario. You wait for the enemy team to make a mistake. The problem is, if we see Cloud9 come out with anything similar as what they did before, owning that high ground, you know, having Crinkles, having Justin taking over the high ground, that's not going to work for you. You know, the tanks are going to drop down at a point, but then Crinkles on top, just peppering damage into you as that soldier. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Quasar goes with, you know, more of one of their typical strategies or tries to outplay what they think Cloud9 is going to be hinging their plans on.
And I'm really scared. I see Nevi right now. It looks like he's locked on the Bastion. The high ground's going to be undivable if Nevi picks this Bastion and they get set up. Crinks is going to have that healing pad ready. So if the dive comes, he drops that healing pad. Nevi setup has that 20% damage reduction. He's going to be able to heal himself through it with Alteza topping up whoever the target of the dive is. Plus they have Shino to boop and deny the high ground as well. So Nevi's going to be able to pour damage on this entire time. And if there's one thing that Justin can do, it's be a nuisance. So I think what they're going for here is they're going to go for a high ground setup with Nevi, Alteza, Crinkles, and Shino. I'm not sure what Kroger's going to go on to. Maybe the Winston, maybe even an Orisa or a Reinhardt to shield that Nevi. But Justin's just going to be tipping the point and just contesting it like a tank and touching it and denying that pressure like you're talking about. You know, Quasar's entire defense is about putting that pressure and forcing them on the low ground. Well, if Justin's unkillable on the low ground, they're going to have to come to him and then run right into... Oh, and I would have really loved to see it. It's going to be the same thing with Crank set up on the high ground, but...
It looks like we're going to see exactly what we thought we were going to see earlier. Quasar is taking this very familiar positioning, which again, this is smart. They're trying to get maybe a little bit of peek on the back, but they're really just trying to bait the enemy team. And I feel like you're a prophet, Dancer, because exactly what you thought we would see is what we're seeing right now. Crinkles has that high ground, pumping in as much damage as possible. It's not a lot of damage, but it's consistent damage over time.
And it's really hard to deny, especially he's on this little circle. He's able to run around, and even in their positioning, you see he gets that Zenyatta for free. He doesn't have to do anything to get there.
Yeah, what a wonderful spot that he's in here, and this is what we see every single time from Cloud9. Whoever you want to put your eyes onto, whether it's going to be, you know, Justin, whether it's Crinkles, whoever it is, the moment you look at them, somebody else is peppering you from the back. It's so hard to choose who to go on to, but it looks like Quasar has figured out the equation here. They are able to get almost a full team wipe there. So first point is going in the way of Quasar, and Flutter is absolutely phenomenal in this Scrim. He already has his Zenyatta Ultimate Transcendence coming out. Shino, on the other hand, who's the Lucio coming in from Cloud9, is only 60% to his beat.
And that was really good play by the team and by Flutter there. Undeniably, like, they could not kill him no matter how hard they tried. And that's kind of why they won the fight. Flutter coming on top again.
Showing why he belongs on this team. He's got the Transcendence, but that's not all he's doing out here. He's also popping the enemy Tracer who had recall available, but she died so fast that she wasn't able to use it. Flutter really just showing off what a confident and competent Zenyatta player he truly is. And this is what we need to see from Quasar. Have everybody kind of fill into each other's roles. So your Zenyatta is able to do all this because your Winston is doing so much damage and causing so much chaos. And the only reason Winston's able to do that is because the Zenyatta's there healing him up. It's so hard to fight through this, but it looks like Cloud9 is trying to find a strategy. It is not working well for them because now Crinkles is taken out. And at this point, Cloud9 really needs to decide, is this a team comp that we want to keep bashing our heads against the wall with? 65% cap for Quasar. Is this going to be working out for us in the next fight?
And you don't want to hear this, but I think it's almost time to stop trying to dive this Zenyatta. The dive's been calling on him so many times, but his team is just peeling so well. It's almost impossible to kill, but it looks like, as I say, he's caught out of position.
Yeah, but you're spending 2 resources in that Zenyatta. Yeah, he finally died, but the rest of your team is doing well, apparently. They sent both Justin and Kroger onto the Zenyatta. It took them about 8 to 10 seconds to get that kill, and that's the moment in time that Quasar was potentially able to win that 5v4 on the point. As it stands right now, Cloud9 was able to take over. Crinkles now has his high ground. This is a scary moment. The only thing that, and this is a big thing, but the only thing that Quasar has going for them right now, They only need one fight to win here, and they have 4 ultimates online, almost 5 with Flutter on another Transcendence coming up.
And Flutter's been getting the poke damage in. Yeah, basically just built it with that one. You know it's going to be 5 ults here.
Very aggressive beat coming in from Little Spoon there. He wants to make as much time as possible for his team to be able to walk in. Not gonna happen for you because Crinkles is popping his tactical visor. Kills coming in from everybody on the Cloud9 side. They're just sharing all these kills. Damage being pumped in from every angle. These crossfires are absolutely incredible from Cloud9, and they're showing us why they belong on this point right now. A little bit slow to get started here, but now they're in full control.
And I love the fact that Justin comes back to peel for Crinkles. We know they have a bit of a chemistry and a bit of like a DPS duo since they have been playing. They don't play on a team very often, but they do play duo queue. So he comes back, peels those tanks for him.
Julian jumping in right away, trying to create space, pops his ultimate just to scare the enemy team, and then nobody's looking at Luna, who walks in, gets a 2K on both of the enemy team's healers. That is a huge deal. Shino going down, Alteza going down, and the reason that's such a big deal, they did not have their ultimates ready, but they're not building their ultimates right now. They're just walking from spawn, and this might be the moment that Quasar needs. Kroger, no, not like this!
Normally I'd say that was probably a calculated reset, but I don't think that's what he wanted to do there.
Alright, so this is just going to be some exit kill or some final kills, hopefully coming in from Quasar. Crinkles is having his way with Quasar's line right now, pumping in that damage. And with this sprint, he's got the heals and he's using very smart use of those heal pads all around. Crinkles is a very big nuisance, hitting that air shot as he falls down. Take a seat, Imperi.
Crinkles carried that. He got on. I think there was 4 Quasar alive. Couldn't kill Crinkles through his healing pad. He actually got a pick, got out, dodged the Diva Bomb, takes high ground and gets 2 more picks. How do you do that while touching point? That's unbelievable.
It all came from staying alive. That was so fantastic. Really smart heads up play. Crinkles did not commit when he knew he couldn't win an engagement. Instead, disengage, let your resets, your Helix Rocket, your heal pad get back up. Then you walk back in and re-engage. Very, very smart play by Crinkles, and that's why he's on this team. Now we got a Tracer v Tracer battle. Who's going to take it? Because nobody has recall anymore. It doesn't look like it's going to be done anytime soon because the beat is coming out for Cloud9. Crinkles dropping his tactical visor. Only gets 1 kill, but he is pushing everybody back. Nobody's able to peek right now with Crinkles popping off that tactical visor.
And he saw that the tanks didn't have the dive up, so although the Diva was still in mech, he pops the tac visor knowing that the tanks can't deny it, and gets that instant pick on Genji. So much value there, knowing that it's last fight, a pick on Genji is probably going to win it.
What a fantastic performance by Crinkles. I don't know that he has missed a single Helix Rocket this entire, at least while we've been paying very close attention to what he's doing. These Helix Rockets air shots are so incredible by Crinkles, followed up by insane accuracy on that assault rifle. So Crinkles is really showing off right now, and it's fantastic to watch. Yeah, then now we're just up on cleanup duty here, so it looks like that's going to be point number 1 on Oasis, going in the way of Cloud9. He did not look very strong, you know, walking into this fight initially. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves because Imperi is able to get a kill there, but very quickly picked up by Alteza. So valiant effort coming in from Quasar there to try to stall the point out, maybe get it to flip, but that's not going to happen here. So first point going, and that might be one of the closest matches, but first point going to Cloud9 there in a 99-100 victory by Cloud9.
That was only the first point of University. I feel like we've been watching this map for probably 4 minutes. That's how competitive it was.
That's about as long as one of those King of the Hills can even go. 99-100, plus that overtime went for very, very long.
And they had the double, they had more than that one last overtime because there was that one fight where Cloud9 got the reset that Crinkles engaged, and that entire time Quasar was controlling the point. So it was an overtime push where Cloud9 wasn't building any time on the point for an entire like 1 minute fight. So I think that might have been a 4-minute map of KOTH. Like, that was so long. I love that. That's what I want. Like, I love KOTH.
Pretty incredible there. Now, very interesting. We're seeing dive versus dive. That's not the interesting part. We're not seeing any Pharahs here. Pharah's a very strong pick on this map here. Doesn't look like that Cloud9 actually needs it because they're getting the first 2 kills on the tanks, and that's going to completely destroy anything that Quasar wanted to do. The moment your diving tanks go down, unless one of your DPS is able to get a 5k on their own, it's very unlikely you're going to be able to get any purchase on the point. Now, look, take a look at Nevi, though. He's already built 62% to his Dragon Blade, whereas Luna's only built 25%. So, you know, losing that fight that quickly is such a huge deal. Cloud9 has the advantage walking into this fight. Now, the question is, this small window of opportunity right now is what Quasar has. Nobody has an ultimate yet. Can you get in and take this point? Not Imperi, though, getting a triple shuriken straight to the straight to the head, switch straight to take you out. Good night, Imperi.
Wow, and such an early blade coming out here. First ult on the board, coming up from Nevi, and I think he well deserved that. That was something else.
Yeah, fantastic play by Nevi there, and it's so hard to pick who on Cloud9 is, you know, carrying the rest of the team. You know, we've seen, you know, first of all, Alteza on that Mercy has just been staying alive. Such a pest, if I can say it that way. Very, very annoying if you have a Mercy who just refuses to die because it feels like she's everywhere, all over, pocketing the entire team at once. So when you're diving into that, it almost feels like your dive isn't doing any damage. It's a very frustrating feeling that must be coming out from Quasar. Pulse Bomb being thrown into the Zenyatta, not going to be able to get any kills off that one, but is able to take out the D.Va Mech.
And this is really, really rough place to be in. They took so much damage on that engage. D.Va was basically demeched as she shifted onto point. So, just like this spam coming in on these resets is so big. And I want you to take a look at Cloud9's roster, what they're running right now, and say, who would you even dive? It's so hard to get a dive target on this comp because everyone has mobility, everyone has a way to get out, and everyone kind of has a resource to just keep themselves alive.
I think the best thing that Quasar can do right now is really hope that Imperi is able to open up this fight with a huge bomb, but Luna's actually going to be the one to take on that role, getting a kill onto the Mercy. That is a fine trade. Blade for a Mercy, I'll take it every single time.
And this fight looking a little chaotic. Anyone can come out on top. Flutter getting the damage in. I think if he's not dove, it's going to be a problem, as I say.
And as you say it, of course, they dive. The Genji swift striking in. Tracer able to take it out, and that is so scary when you're, you know, a Zenyatta in that moment. You just die. You don't really have a choice in the matter. And Nevi just pulling out another blade. That might be the second, possibly the third blade. I think it was only 2 blades for Nevi, but 2 fantastic blades. You know, I guess this map was the Nevi show, but we're seeing this rotating door. It started with, you know, Justin popping off, showing us what he could do on that Hanzo, then on the McCree. Then we're seeing Crinkles have his moment to shine. Nevi's had his 5 minutes. Alteza's been staying alive. Shino has peels for days. Kroger, I mean, anybody you point to on Cloud9's side, you could make a very good case that they are carrying the fight right now. Now, Quasar has had a much better team strategy. When they're winning these fights, they're staying together as a team. Nobody individually is popping off, but they are enabling each other to get big plays. But that only comes from playing together and having these very, very tight dives.
And I think one of the reasons we saw a more competitive match in that first map than the second map is on that first map, I already forget what it's called, but Quasar had a very obvious game plan. Even you called it before it began what they were going to do, because we've seen it before. They know what they're doing. I think that what was more scary on Gardens, which was the second map, I don't know if they had the exact same strong of a game plan. I saw the focus fire kind of going out the window where Tracer was trying to solo a D.Va and things like that, where you were losing a lot of your team focus value on small things just because you don't have that game plan. You don't know where your regroup point is. Just small stuff like that makes the difference. If you know what you're doing at the beginning of a fight before it happens, you're more likely to win that fight.
I'm not sure about that Reinhardt play there. Reinhardt has already lost at least 800 to 1,000 health on his shield, so he's not going to have the shield once the fight actually starts. Justin is showing us why that's such a big deal. Getting a headshot on the Zarya. Now Nevi walks in, and this looks like it's going to be very easily won by Cloud9. I'm not going to put everything on that Reinhardt, but I do think that that's a little bit of a mistake. If you do get there first as Reinhardt, there's no reason to open up your shield. Take some damage, build some ult for your healers, and keep that shield alive.
And Nevi, same thing on Gardens, right? He's just building his ult so quickly. Already 85%. He's most likely gonna have this ult on Quasar's approach.
Even close to Nevi with the ultimate. Maybe Justin is starting to get up there, but Nevi, take a look at the entire roster for Quasar. Nobody's close. Little Spoon is getting there. Nevi not even taken out. He was flashbang, but they could not finish.
Oh, with the grab!
With a giant blade coming in.
You love that coordination. That is what I want to see. Orisa gets a massive pull. That blade comes out, and you instantly get that dash, slice, 120 or 175 damage, basically for free, with one ult and ability combo. Oh,
yeah,
so
that is
clean.
Fantastic. And of course, it was not a traditional grab like Zarya's grab. Remember, Orisa does have that little mini graviton surge she's able to use, pull everybody in, and just Nevi was able to get the fattest dash, so thick on that dash. Now that's scary. Nevi was able to just pop off there, but don't get too, presumptuous if you're Quasar. You can't just walk in, because now Justin's popping off with his high noon, taking out only one, but that is a very important kill there. Not only is Flutter dead, he can't push with his team, he still does not have beat yet.
And Nevi getting so cocky, he wanted that triple dash. He needed to get that kill to get out. Maybe don't always take that fight there, Nevi.
This might not be the best thing for Cloud9 because Nevi didn't want to get that dash off, and he could have been the hero had he gotten one kill, because the moment you get a kill as Genji, remember, your dash does reset, so you can make it out safely. Not going to happen that time, and now it looks like Quasar is taking their opportunity, and they're walking in, full aggression coming in from Quasar, getting 2 kills. Shino's down, Altez is down. This is going to be very difficult unless somebody's able to pop off magically for Cloud9, and it might be Nevi. Never mind, because Imperi's there, takes down Nevi, and now Cloud9 does drop the ball there, drops the point. They do get it to 99%, so Quasar is in a good position. They have the point here, but they're looking down the barrel of about 4 ultimates walking in from Cloud9. That's very, very scary when all you have is a Diva Bomb and a beat to answer with. Maybe that blade from Luna can do something, but this is going to be a very scary moment for Quasar.
And yeah, they walk in, they already have so much positioning. Heinum coming out, undeniable. So big.
And see, Cloud9 is so good at this. They're able to get to a position, and they don't just stand there and wait. They're not looking around trying to figure out what they're going to do. By the time they get to the choke, they already know exactly what they're going to do. Everybody opens up. McCree pops his high noon. Hog knows to walk in with his whole hog. And there's no answer for that. What do you do when that crossfire is coming in 2 ultimates from 2 different directions? Very scary. Let's take a look at this Genji blade. This is the one I wanted to see.
And that's so much damage for free. Orisa getting the clump up. Oh, I think I have a thing for combos in Overwatch. Once you know that there's just something going on that basically sets up the DPS, oh, I'm in love. Something about a DPS that's patient enough to let his team set him up. Because I'll tell you, there's DPS out there who, as soon as they get that blade, they want to show off. They want to press that Q. They want to say, look, I got my blade in 15 seconds. Nevi waited, and I'm 100% sure they had the call saying, I'm halting, and then he pressed it. You have to have that call to be able to see it that cleanly. And I love it. I think it takes a lot of patience to hold that blade. Even if it was just 3 more seconds, it makes a difference. That 3 seconds, they don't know what's going on. You group them up, you instant kill them. They don't have that 3 seconds to react.
Yeah, what a scary moment that must be when you're Quasar. I mean, you just lose the team fight at that point, right? You don't really have an answer to that. But absolutely impressive seeing what Cloud9 is able to do. They're not a team who's been together very long, but again, we mentioned this before. They are very high-level players with great game sense and obviously very, very strong communication. What I would love to see from Quasar, though, is I feel like Joey and Julian, the 2 tanks that come in from Quasar, I feel like they've been reading from different scripts in a couple of these fights, at least a couple of the maps that we've seen. I would love to see Julian and Joey get back on the same page. It looks like they're going to be abandoning the dive, at least for now, and switching on to that ball and chain combo that the Roadhog and the Orisa give you. This is going to be great. I think it's going to get Julian and Joey talking a lot more in comms, just try to slow the pace of the game down, get back to a place where you feel confident initiating these fights, which you can do with that Orisa and Roadhog combo, and then regain their confidence from that point. So that's what we're going to be looking to see from Quasar here on defense. Are they able to feel confident in their tanks being on the same page?
And I was a little concerned there. I don't know if Bridget's perfect to pair with the dive, but I think it would have been fun to see it. And we see actually Crinkles flexing onto the Tracer. He typically hasn't really been playing that as much, but I think they want to run the Widow Tracer. And it just goes back to what I said before. They do have this triple DPS flex line, so they can change up what they're doing, and they'll always have a Tracer player, always have a Genji player.
All right, prediction time. Little Spoon, who is the Ana on defense for Quasar, is going to be in the back right, and Justin is going to get the first kill onto Little Spoon. That is my prediction of this fight.
Yeah, this is going to be really rough. Oh!
Make it Imperi instead!
And Little Spoon is hiding really well, but now that they denied that high ground, Justin's going to move up to the left. No one's going to be able to deny him. They won't be able to dive him. And if one of the healers doesn't put pressure on him, no one's going to be able to.
This is so scary when you're on defense of Hanamura. You know, what are we used to? At least if you play a lot of, ladder, if you're playing a lot of competitive, you're pretty much used to people standing at the choke, firing back and forth, shooting into shields, waiting to get a lucky pick. Hopefully they walk in after that. Maybe your team forgets to walk in, whatever it may be. Cloud9 doesn't do that. Even if Justin hadn't gotten that pick there, of course it's amazing that he did. Even if he hadn't, Cloud9 brings so much aggression to this fight. They're not standing at the choke. They're walking and smashing you in the face, and it's your job to respond to that. And if you can't, you're going to lose point A. Exactly what we saw happen to Quasar. The fight already starting here, whether you like it or not. Alteza's thinking about using his Valkyrie. It might be a good time to use it. Now Kroger has the first kill going on a Flutter. Again, this is just an absolute aggressive positioning for Cloud9. They do not wait. They're not even stopping to think about what they want to do. They know what they want to do, and they're going to make it happen.
And they don't allow that soldier to keep that high ground. That's basically the sustained damage that's going to win the fight for Quasar. As soon as they deny that, this is going to be a really rough stagger. They're going to trickle on the point, and if someone doesn't pop off, it's basically over.
That's one of the things you really have to watch out with Alteza. Just because Alteza is on Mercy does not mean that that's all Alteza can do. Alteza is a fantastic player, not only with the great decision making, but that fantastic aim, putting so much pressure into the enemy team. And again, staying alive. Nobody can kill Alteza because there's so many anchor points for her to fly to. Shooting all the way, healing up her tanks. This is very frustrating if you're Quasar here.
Although it does look like Quasar's starting to stabilize. Imperi pocketing the attack visor, not on the high ground, but can still get tons of value here. Oh no. And it looks like Cloud9 sent
4K by Imperi, getting a huge amount of value from that tactical visor. Imperi, that was a do or die moment. He either pops it there, stays alive long enough to get those kills, or guaranteed Quasar loses that fight. Now, unfortunately for Quasar, they did give up 2 ticks on the point there, but it's got to be said of Imperi. I don't know that he bided his time there. I think he popped it when he thought he could, but luckily for him, it was the perfect time to catch Cloud9 sleeping.
And almost caught out there, standing still. Can't do that when Crinkles is around. Almost gets the one clip.
Very interesting strategy. Look what Quasar likes to do here. They keep that Mercy on the top right, so she has plenty of room to move. Unfortunately, she shifted into the wrong place at the wrong time. Is taken out by Crinkles. This is a very scary moment again for Quasar. They keep getting so much pressure on them. Wonder better be able to get this beat off. He's very scared to use it here. Does not want to die by the monkey. Smartly backs off. This monkey will not let him live. Somebody take care of Kroger. He is completely disabling the healers. And just like that, man, Quasar, it looked like they had the right idea. They were in good positions. They seemed to be making good decisions towards that fight. They weren't getting too panicked, but the Mercy goes down. Kroger goes in and completely disables the supports, and nobody's able to touch the point. So one more tick went the way of Cloud9, and they get 2 points on Hanamura with an impressive 4 minutes and 41 seconds left in the time bank.
And the problem with letting 2 ticks go is basically you're letting more than 2 ticks go. You're letting 2.5 go because you see the pressure very often put on point because you want to keep your soldier and your tanks on high ground. So Crinkles goes down as the Tracer, touches point, gets almost half a tick, and for the remainder of that fight, you're now fighting to only have half a tick. So we saw Tank had to, the Winston at the end had to deny high ground. Fight was basically over when that happened because we saw such a good zoning by Kroger. Flutter couldn't get on point. Julian had to force Justin on the high ground, otherwise his team would get wiped. And you're just creating these checkmate scenarios where if we stay on point and don't deal with these problems, we're gonna die. If we deal with the problems, we aren't on point and we lose. And that's, I think, what Overwatch is all about. You got to create these crossfires and these checkmate scenarios where no matter what the enemy does, if it's the right thing, they're still gonna lose because
just get them into a position where they get tripped up and they can't. There's no good decision to make. Now, Julian, tell me a little bit about what Quasar is thinking here. Do you like the quad tank strategy? Do you think they're gonna go for the walk right in, punch him in the mouth, and see how they respond? How do you think this is gonna work against Cloud9?
I see Shino on the Bridget, and I'm really scared. I think Bridget has actually a really good job at denying the Slambulance. If he can stun and push away Julian, they lose their shield. Ryan's very useless in the backline, so almost alone on a 4-second cooldown, Shino can deny the main point of this, which is keeping Ryan alive. We're going to see what happens, that being said. They do have a lot of resources to deny it.
All right, walking right in is Quasar, looking to get a huge shift off. Does get Nevi into the shift, so that's huge for Julian. He takes out the enemy team's Hog, and that is a lot of damage that was going to go into Julian's shield, which no longer can. Moira's going to be able to pick up her ult so fast. Little Spoon's getting so much healing onto her tanks right now. Sheena's had to pull back on the point. This is so scary because you're looking down the barrel of almost 2,000 health walking directly at you. Sheena doing this is the strength of Brigitte. She stays alive for so long. Is the rest of the team going to be able to return that favor in kind? Justin getting a pick on the Flutter. Things look like they're turning around here, but Sheena finally taken out by Julian.
And that stick would have been the difference. You take out Moira, you kill the quad tank, but now it's going to be too rough.
Hero with the 4K there, getting the pin onto Alteza. Julian has been pushed around enough. This is his time to take back Hanamura.
Well, and that was quite a play there. Just keeping Julian alive. That's the game plan of the Slambulance. Little Spoon doing a great job building his ult quickly. And I liked the soft reset that was called in the side room there. They got into the right. They got a pick on Hog. They know his respawn timer is bad, so they top up. They'll give Little Spoon a chance to recharge a bit of his heals, and then they re-engage with the 6v5.
All right, Crinkles and Justin are on a very big stall comp here. They have the McCree, they have the Reaper. Is it going to be enough? Because Julian does get that hammer down, taking out the Zenyatta, but just like that, Mercy takes him back up. It is an even fight here, and Crinkles is doing as much damage as possible into 4 tanks on the Reaper. He's going to stay alive for a very long time here because he does have that lifesteal. He's at 250 HP. He's got the lifesteal, and he's got the Mercy pocket. How do you stop Crinkles?
This is going to be so rough. You took out the Lucio. That speed boost actually does so much to keeping the Slambulance in position and alive. As soon as you get that Lucio, it's kind of just easy to catch the people that are out of position because there's no speed boost to put them back in the right spot. I really like that Reaper swap. Typically, it's not a guaranteed counter. You can't just go Reaper and beat a quad tank. You do need a lot of coordination and good target selection. So I love that. As soon as Lucio's dead, like I said, everyone's caught out of position. No speed boost to help out that team, and Crinkles just goes crazy, shooting whatever he wants.
All right, so sticking on to the quad tank strategy is Quasar. Now, it did work for them on this previous push. They were able to get a tick on the point, so I think that Quasar especially... Oh, no, now they're switching on to the Mei, which is great, and Piri now switching on to the Reaper, so they are going to switch it up a little bit here. Mei's a great strategy. What you really want to do here, if you're Quasar, they're going to attempt to bait Cloud9 onto the point, and your goal here, before Cloud9 engages with you, is to try to get Reaper to use his shift. Can you get Crinkles to waste his Wraith form so he's not such an oppressive force in the middle of the fight? This is scary because watch out, here comes the Death Blossom, pulling it out. The shield does come down from the Mei wall, and nothing is coming from it. Imperi is the superior Reaper on this fight here. Imperi taking down both Crinkles and Krogger. This is Imperi's show because he responds to the enemy Reaper with a Reaper of his own, getting kills all over the place.
And this is a tough spot to be in, running into a Reaper in a sustained fight. You're not going to be able to buy too much time.
Now that's the Death Blossom you want to see, getting so much damage on a Krogger. Does kill him with the Hellfire shotguns. The stall is here, but I don't know that it's going to do a whole lot. I mean, Justin is able to do a lot of damage here, but now Zenyatta's going down, Genji's going down, Justin goes down, and finally the point is captured there with heads-up switches. Luna was able to get the wall there, saving most of her team from the Death Blossom that came in from Crinkles, which was a very, very smart play. I don't know that they might not have been expecting that Death Blossom because it was built very fast. But heads up play came in from the Mei there. And then, of course, we saw what Imperial was able to do on the Reaper of his own.
And I don't want to take anything away from Imperi, because that Reaper play was really clean. He just got so much cleave, so much damage onto Cloud9 that they couldn't do anything about it. But the thing is, the team comp that Cloud9 was running was very bad to deal with a Reaper. They had 0 damage mitigation. They had a Winston bubble, and that was the only ability on an entire 6-man team that denies damage. So that's just not enough. I think it was Nevi who was on the Hog running the off tank with a Winston. That's just really, really rough, especially with the Reaper patch coming through. Reaper can shift to deny the hook, and then you basically have absolutely nothing to deal with him unless you blow him up. And that just didn't happen, and that's why we saw so much value coming out of Imperi so early.
Well, and that's what, I mean, it really sings the praises to Quasar's intelligence. You know, they saw the weakness that Cloud9 was bringing to that defense. The quick swap over to the Reaper, over onto the Mei. Very, very smart play here. And now it looks like we've got Cloud9 on defense, and we've got Crinkles on the Bastion.
Oh, I love this. This is going to be really hard to run the Slambulance into. Although they don't know the surprise Mei is coming through, they will get a lot of value out of a wall here. They're going to wall, reposition, and I mean, I guess you can burst through that wall, but you're still going to have a rough time.
Yeah, I don't think Crinkles is worried about that wall at all. Takes down the wall before it comes down, and then takes out Mei as well. Get out of here, Mei. Crinkles does not have time for you or your wall.
And I love the fact that Nevi doesn't back off the shield. He has that damage mitigation. He's really hard to kill. You're not going to be able to basically kill him, even though the wall came behind him. Crinkles is going to rip through it instantly with that Alteza damage boost, and really the Mei pick's not going to get much hit. Yeah, I mean, this is just going to be rough. I think they picked this to counter the quad tank.
Fantastic hook, ball and chain combo from Krogger. Pulled Flutter in, and then the hook came in from Nevi. Nevi got the hook there. Flutter had no chance of living. Crinkle's taking a much better position. Knows the enemy team is high ground, but also knows that they don't have their Lucio. This is very, very scary from Quasar perspective here. They know that it's unlikely for Cloud9 to push them up there, but they're still waiting on their Lucio. This is dead time that could be used to reset, maybe attack the point, but it looks like the fight is coming right now.
Shino doing
back and forth. Yeah, Shino's doing a lot of work. And look at him, just staying alive. This is what we saw Flutter doing on that same Zenyatta before. And now we're seeing Shino pick up that mantle as just one of the most annoying things to walk into is, you know, that Fluttershy Zenyatta and then the Shino Zenyatta. This is so scary. You know, how do you respond to this, Dancer? You want to get to Shino, but there's an Omnic in your way. There's 2 Omnics in your way. What do you do?
I don't know. And especially with the rotations coming through, they're using Bastion for immense frontline pressure. So I think the only way you can even try to deal with this is maybe put a wall between, instead of in front of Crinkles, in front of that Bastion, put it behind him and deny Shino from doing that extra damage. I think it might make a difference in this fight because we saw him pump so much damage into those tanks. And the thing is with Zenyatta is he's always hitting the Discord target because he knows what it is.
Take a look at Luna switching over onto that Sombra. Definitely wants to try to get a hack here. Justin is able to throw out his Death Blossom. Does get a kill onto the Reinhardt, and it's saved by Shino. Shino is showing what it's like to be fantastic carry on the Zenyatta, keeping your Justin up, keeping your Reaper up, and then coming out of the Transcendence and getting a headshot kill of your own. So what we originally thought was going to be the Crinkles show here, which of course it still is. Crinkles is, even if he's not getting a lot of kills in the kill feed, he's changing the way that Quasar walks into this point. You know, they can't be out in the open. They have to take these quick turns. They have to put themselves into positions where they're at a potential disadvantage just to get away from that Bastion. And the moment you do that, Justin walks in and just pumps the damage into you from behind.
Oh, and that's
fantastic chatter, the huge chatter from Julian. Is anybody going to be able to follow up on it? And the rest of the team is finally there. There was so much damage there that could have gone either way, but the rest of Quasar was able to walk in. You know, not only was the shatter there, but so much damage was just doled out into that fight. All that Quasar needed was a little bit of follow-up damage to confirm those kills. It did come late, but better late than never.
And that was their last chance. If Julian doesn't hit that shatter, or if it's denied in any way whatsoever, the fight is over. We saw what that comp was doing to the quad tank, and even with the swap off, it's just so hard to approach it because you have that Bastion pumping damage into you, and you have a quad tank who can't really deal with him at a range.
This is the fight that Quasar needs to take right here because there are no ultimates that are able to come in from Cloud9. EMP coming in. That was a great switch by Luna, who had the EMP ready for the next fight. Kills are going in the way of the Quasar, but nobody's able to get any percentage on the point. It is still contested here. Barely a tenth of the point has been taken. Quasar needs to clear out this point. They need to clear it out fast because guess what?
And the healers are dying. Look at this. They're chasing Mercy more, right? They can't die.
And the respawns are coming back, and that's what you gotta watch out for if you're not able to get a confident kill on the entire enemy team very early in the fight. Respawns come in, healers are staying alive, and it's very difficult to get any purchase on the point.
And I'm really bummed to see that. The healers really pulled their weight on Cloud9's side. But it does look like this is all cleanup from Quasar's side now. Gonna be really rough to deal with this. You just clean up the Mei, and I think after that you're done.
That was such a scary moment that came in for Quasar. They might have lost it all there with the superior performance of Cloud9's healers, but now it's just cleanup duty. So once those reinforcements came in, it does not look like Quasar was scared at all. Many ultimates coming in. By the way, we have the second EMP of this fight coming in from Luna. Luna's doing so much work here.
And I don't know what to say. Every single time I think that Quasar's gonna lose this point, they come back and they just keep it up.
Wow. With a fantastic defense there. Almost 2 CP'd Quasar out of the game, but Quasar stayed in there, had 2 EMPs throughout that fight, and a lot of really smart play. You know, people were staying in live. They were staying in good positions where they could pump out a lot of damage onto the enemy team's reinforcements as they came in from spawn. So what's traditionally a very, very difficult point to take, especially in overtime, point B Hanamura does fall, and that's going to be 4-2 at about the 3/4 point through this map. Now, 4 minutes and 41 seconds are left for Cloud9. So Cloud9 is probably going to do something that we saw similar to their first push. They're going to look to get in quickly, take point A as fast as possible, and allow them as much time as they need onto point B to take their time and capture it, or what we saw from last time, just go in as fast as possible and try to catch Quasar off guard.
And we see the main difference is Justin's on the Tracer this first push, but I think the idea is going to be the same, to deny Lunar the...
This is not the time to switch.
I don't know.
You got 10 seconds to get back. You better be going on the Tracer or you're not going to make it back in time.
Oh, no.
They're not going to make it back in time. Maybe they might go a little bit slower, Cloud9, but this is a 5v6 on the front lines. If Cloud9 just decides to walk in, they have a massive advantage.
And the thing with these these high-tier teams, they know to just walk in. They see something, they're scouting, making sure that there's nothing in the back line. But, oh, they're going to get free position on the point because there was no Roadhog there.
And there is a chance for Quasar to come back in, but they got to do a lot of damage, and they got to do it fast. Kills being traded back and forth, but it looks like Cloud9 might have the advantage here, but don't count Flutter out too fast. We know how much damage he can pump out in a short period of time. He might be able to get his Transcendence by the end of this fight. That's how good Flutter is, but not like this. So it looks like a little bit of miscommunication there from the side of Quasar led to an early loss on the first point, and that is not what you want to see. This is very, very scary territory for Quasar. Not only were they not able to hold point A for longer than, what was that, about a minute? But now we have Cloud9 coming in with superior ult advantage. You know, this is a very scary moment and such a blunder from Quasar, not something we're used to seeing from such a strong team.
And Little Spoon got very little value out of the Moira. He was so busy trying to pocket Flutter and keep him alive on that Zen that he wasn't able to help the rest of his team.
And Little Spoon is going to be going down. Nebby chasing down that kill. Saw that Little Spoon was low. Ran in, tried to get the kill. Now getting more kills. Nebby going to get 2K with the blade. Can he make it 3? Doesn't need to make it 3 because the rest of his team is there. The tanks are pushing, and Crinkles and Krogger are there to be able to push in and give that additional damage, take down the rest of the team. As much as Flutter wanted that Zenyatta Transcendence to do a little bit more work, nobody was there to get any value out of that. It was just a stalling technique, and now the beats coming in, this might be exactly what Cloud9 needed to cap this point.
And I'll tell you what, if you have a Zenyatta Transcendence and you haven't given up first point yet, wait until 1 or 2 of your teammates are there and then pop it, and maybe you'll get more value. Flutter got very little value there because he was on point alone, not healing his teammates and just stalling with time.
Very smart recall there by Justin. Did not want to get hit by the Diva Bomb. Flutter looks like he might be going down here, but he is able to stay alive as long as possible, and not with somebody like Justin. With aim like Justin has, takes down Flutter. Joey is able to do a little bit of damage here, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough because Cloud9 is very confident on this point here. And another blade for Nevi.
And second plate of the fight. These are the real 2 CP lull fights that just never seem to end.
That is the second 2-man kill blade from Nevi in one fight.
And everyone on fire on the side of Cloud9. Very clean last fight. They really didn't lose anyone, but Quasar did a really good job of sort of staggering themselves onto the point. Kept the fight alive for a while, although if you're not getting picks, you're probably not going to win that one. They do run the time down a little bit, but they're going to need a much better first point hold in order to win this one, or even just tie it.
Hopefully Quasar is able to figure out what they want to do before 10 seconds are left in the fight. I don't think they're going to make that mistake again. I think we've all been there at least once or twice before. You're not really expecting the time to start that quickly after both teams have gone. So, you know, if there's a little bit of confusion in comms, that could spell disaster for your first point hold. This is going to be the last attempt on the attack for Cloud9. And as we see, Justin is back on that very familiar hero. He's back on the Widowmaker, ready to try to get that opening pick and create all the space his team needs to get one tick on the point.
Yeah, and I think if you just need that one tick, Widow's definitely a better call because you only need to get that first pick once, and basically you give your team a massive advantage in winning this game. So I like the choice to stay on the Tracer when it's a little bit riskier and you know you need those 2 points, but when it's guaranteed that you only need to win a little bit of a fight in 2.5 minutes, you have that time and you don't have any pressure on Widow. And we're going to see, I think they're going to check the left side, they're going to deny it, and if not, Justin's going to hold up left side for free once again like he did last time.
Ooh, the awning saved saved Flutter there. He was very, very close to death, but he was saved by the corner peeking awning. Unfortunately for Cloud9, this might be a bad time to push because they have Big Bad 3 dead Flutter back into the fight, taking out Shino. This is a huge deal. This might be exactly what Quasar needed to at least buy themselves some breathing room on the point and potentially get themselves ultimate advantage going into the next fight. 1:45 left on the clock. That's about enough for 3 fights as long as they're fast and as long as they're clean.
But look at this positioning by Cloud9. Right away, taking that left side. That's where Justin wants to go. So his team on the reset denying that position and making sure that he can...
Watch out.
Oh no. And this is what you don't want. You don't want Justin on the hit scan uncontested. He's gonna...
With a wonderful headshot. Did you see that, Dancer?
and he gave me a recap just in case I didn't see it. He did the same to Orisa. Like I said, you can't let Justin go uncontested. They don't have the comp to deal with it, and it's just a matter of time until you lose. Very smart play. That was great team play that I like to see. Kroger, Nevi, right away taking that position, knowing, hey, Justin's about to be back in 5 seconds. I'm going to make sure he can use his hook shot, get up here, and he's going to be safe. And then as soon as he gets in, he has all the space in the world to work with because the tanks never let go.
That is what we call a classic Junkrat play of the game right there, folks. What a scary scenario. I mean, you know, we've said this so many times before, but who are you most scared of coming in from Cloud9? Who is it? I actually don't know at this point.
It's really hard to say. Kroger on that main tank's been killing it, and the weird thing is that he's been flexing with different off tanks. Sometimes we're seeing Crinks run it, sometimes we're seeing Nevi run it, but it's never consistent. So for you to be a main tank and consistently have different people playing different styles and to synergize with both of them very, very well, that's really good. So I want to give it up to Kroger on that. That's not an easy thing to do, especially to do it this consistently at this high a level of scrims. Like we said, Quasar, yes, their SR is much lower, but they've been a team for one of the longest teams I actually know personally, longer than any clean roster I've been on. So to have that teamwork and compatibility with people that you're brand new with and switching in between each game, that's so impressive. Kudos to Krogers.
Yeah, Kroger is having just a fantastic game. He enables the rest of his team to do essentially whatever they want. Now, here's what I'd like to see from Quasar. There's been a little bit of a break there between going from, Hanamura, now we're on Nepal. I want to see Quasar get back to their roots. So many times we've casted Quasar, we know how strong they are at having a plan and forcing the enemy team to walk into their plan, right? Quasar has at least one or two different but very specific plans laid out for every single map they face. So that's the Quasar I want to see. I want to see them get back into their own playbook and force Cloud9 to play to their playbook, right? They want to force Cloud9 to get into a position where they have to walk into what Quasar is willing to bring. Now, it seems like Quasar is feeling confident enough to go back to this full dive. They have Flutter back on the Zenyatta. That's always a welcome sight. Little Spoon is going to be on that Lucio, and then, the rest of the dive cast that you're used to. So this is the bread and butter for Quasar. This is something that if they do perform it, as well as we've seen in the past, they can take out any team regardless of SR.
Yeah, and that's the thing. SR shouldn't make a difference. This game is about playing a comp and playing together, so Quasar actually has the advantage in that sense. I think if they stay with it, they're gonna be good. As long as they keep peeling Flutter like they have been, I think they should maybe start popping off on the DPS a little bit more, but definitely still winnable.
So much damage being pumped in by Nevi onto Quasar. Quasar's a little bit scared to peek, and the damage that Nevi's able to put in is paying off because Kroger gets the first kill onto Julian.
And the tank's blown up instantly. We saw Julian go down first with Joey right after. You don't have a front line, and now Nevi's going to be able to do whatever he wants. Crinkles is going to be able to do whatever he wants. And I think this is the first time we're seeing actually Justin flex on to that off tank. So like I said, another flex for Kroger to deal with. Every diva has a different playstyle, and he's going to have to synergize with all these different calls.
All right, looks like Julian is going to be the first one to initiate on that fight. I don't see that he has a lot of friends there. No, now Julian's there trying to mitigate as much of the damage as possible. But when you have that split kind of dive where, two tanks are coming into the same place at different times, you allow the enemy team to heal up whoever they were diving in that interim. So that's why it's so crucial to have both of your tanks and your Genji all land on the same target at the same exact moment. You are able to punch out a surprising amount of damage. Over 200 damage if your dive with those three characters is done perfectly. But the moment you have a split dive like that, it's almost like you're just feeding the enemy team healers their ultimates. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Shino's at 77%, and Alteza already has that Mercy Valkyrie at the ready.
And that Valkyrie gets built up so quickly, and it's not really valuable other than a sustained fight. So you pop it early, you use less ults.
Nevi with the no respect barrage gets a 2K, does not care that Flutter takes him out. That's going to be the end of this push from Quasar.
And I mean, barrage isn't something that you necessarily need. It's one of those ults that we talk about where it's like, we can use it early in a fight, and if you get 0 value, not a big deal whatsoever. Unless you have something to pair up with it, like that Shatter or that Graviton Surge. Basically, you're just hoping to get 1 or 2 kills out of it, and if you're lucky, you'll stay alive.
All right, this is a little bit scary here. We have 5 ultimates walking into 5 ultimates. I'm sorry, make that 4 ultimates for Cloud9. They did use the D.Va bomb there, did not get any value from it. I think Justin was expecting the rest of the team to be there at a slightly different moment, so not getting any value there. So much damage is being pumped into Crinkles, but he's not dying. He's getting pocketed. Flutter has to pop the Transcendence there. Is this going to be enough? Now the beat comes in for Cloud9. There's just so much HP to get through. I don't know who's going to come out on top. Crinkles is going to try to make sure it's Cloud9, but then he's taken out.
And I mean, that ult usage bought him enough time to capture the point, but I don't know if it was enough to keep it.
It looks like this might be the end for Flutter. He has done a valiant job staying alive, but is this going to be another one where he takes out Kroger? Do not be scared. That monkey is so low, Flutter.
Oh, no.
Flutter getting carry and getting another kill on Nevi, and it's finally taken out by the Helix rocket of Crinkles. Flutter is somebody you cannot leave alone. I mean, surprising amount of damage. That's kind of the meme, but it's gotta be said. A surprising amount of damage comes out of Flutter, and if you're not paying attention to him, it's like having another DPS there just taking out your tanks.
And another barrage out from Nevi, getting 1 kill, not dying. That's decent value for that ult.
With the trade kill, Flutter gets another kill onto Nevi, takes a rocket to the face, and that's going to be it for the final attack here onto the first point. So that's going to be a point coming in. Now, the point did go in the way of Cloud9. What we saw there from Quasar was a lot of the right idea, but the execution just wasn't there. And you can't do that walking into a team like Cloud9. If you're walking into a very high-ranked team, very smart team, very high game sense, high IQ team, the moment you make any mistake, even a small mistake, they're going to be able to just completely punish you for that. And having your dive tanks coming in at different times onto one target is a giant mistake. And Cloud9 made him pay for it and was able to cap the point in the process.
Yeah, that setup on the high ground, so rough. They just weren't able to deal with it. Like you said, the dive was a little uncoordinated. Not to say that they weren't together, just the timing was really off. You need that coordination to be perfect with that dive to get maximum value out of it.
And it does not look like anybody on Quasar thought to respond to that Pharah. Nevi on the Pharah was doing so much work, already at 50% to ultimate. Another barrage, it feels like just carried it over from the last fight. I'm sorry, from the last map. Completely uncontested. Joey wants to go take out Nevi, but he can't because he's so busy trying to stay with his Winston. Joey has no home, nowhere to go, nowhere to stay safe, and Nevi is just completely controlling the skies.
And running the triple DPS on this map, it's actually like a French strategy developed by Rogue, but it's so strong. On Koth, it's so hard, especially Alteza has so many points to fly to. He can fly to the Lucio, to the Tracer, to Cranks on the Genji, to Nevi in the skies. Alteza's gonna be basically impossible to kill, and Shino's gonna be able to be a part of the frontline dive now because he doesn't have to peel anything.
And we're just seeing these kills coming in. It's like, what we saw before was explosive kills that came in from Cloud9, 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 deaths in a very short time frame. And now what we're seeing is kind of this slow drip that's coming in. Cloud9 is able to just get these picks and stop every single push by Quasar before it starts.
And this is really rough. They killed the time bank so badly. Probably bought about 30-25% there just because Quasar wasn't together. I don't know if you can play split when you're playing against this comp because you're always running into face tanking of the DPS. And watch where the D.Va and the Winston are positioned. They're nowhere together. They're gonna have to use shift just to get near each other.
And Julian has to use his shift and his bubble just to get out of the fight. He took so much damage from, again, Nevi getting free shots down range. And now we're at 75% to complete capture on this point. So this is a moment for Quasar where they have, at best, one good fight. If they get staggered again here, this is going to be a huge problem.
I don't even know if they're going to have an easy time getting to the point. This is going to be so rough. I think you're going to have to see... Oh, I guess Joey got there as the baby D.Va, but this is just such a rough spot to be in.
It really is that triple DPS, and the heroes that we've been talking about all game from Cloud9, Nevi, Crinkles, Justin, having those three on the DPS, we've said so many times, you look at one and the other two kill you. It's just like being in Jurassic Park. Just because you see one Velociraptor in front of you does not mean that you're going to see the other one that's coming up on the side for the kill. And that's the type of strategy that Cloud9 has. It doesn't matter where you look, there is somebody off to the side ready to dive.
I think I even heard Justin pull up the clever girl as he got those picks coming up from the side. I definitely like that picture.
I think I heard it too.
Yeah. That's a great picture of the Jurassic Park there. They just look at Nevi. They can't even do anything about him. They're looking at the damage he's pumping out, and then Justin comes in for the follow-up. And you know that's good comms because Nevi's calling, hey, Winston has no shift, has no bubble. He's 200 health, and he's out of position. I can't follow up. Justin does the triple blink in, finishes the kill, and can recall out basically for free. I'm really scared to see what happens here. The double hit scan, we know how strong it is from Cloud9. If it's not denied, it's going to be a really big problem.
Interesting switch there. Flutter was on the Zenyatta, but as soon as the doors open, took that extra second to switch over to the Lucio. So it seems like Quasar has a specific goal in mind here, and I think it's going to be trying to get lucky picks by either having Luna get the first kill or Joey get the first kill with the hook. You know, with Julian, of course, you know, on that Orisa, they're just trying to get as many environmental kills. Let the map do all the work.
And this is really hard to say. I think Cloud9 has the better positioning here, maybe, but I do know that, yeah, that's the second pick coming out for Quasar. It's going to be rough.
And you know, don't count Cloud9 out here. It is a 4v6, but now it looks like one reinforcement is able to make it back, so now it's a 5v6. The point has not been captured by either side here.
And the one thing that's been consistent is Cloud9 winning just based off of a hit scan on the high ground. And same comes true here. This fight isn't over, and I mean, Quasar's had twice as many picks, but it doesn't matter because the hit scan are uncontested. Look at Justin, the balls on this kid, he's walking into spawn. He walks into their spawn. I think they just forgot which soldier he was. Maybe they thought it was his team because he's sitting there on their spawn doors, shooting them right in the back, and no one even turned to think about him. You gotta contest these hit scans.
The one advantage that Quasar had there, getting those picks, just like you mentioned it, they're getting those picks, letting the map do the work for them, was completely evaporated by the hit scan that came in from Cloud9. You know, Justin, of course, is walking in basically for free. That's a scary thing to see. Now, Imperi does have his high noon ready. He's going to be trying to get, you know, maybe somebody who's feeding here, maybe somebody who can get just a quick pick with the high noon. Something's got to happen because, you know, Quasar has shown that just getting one or two picks is not enough to beat Cloud9. What do you do after?
And look at this damage that they're pumping out just as Quasar's trying to walk in. Such a big deal. You're running Moira, so you're losing your resource as you're just walking in.
All right, Luna's Tires coming in, looking for its target. It does find Justin, and then Alteza goes down as well to Imperi. This is what Quasar needed, because Crinkles is going down as well. I think with 5 kills, we can make that 6 kills. We can confidently say Quasar is taking this point.
And I'm surprised to see that. That was so dominant. But Quasar did the right thing. They got an advantage, and then they pushed in, no hesitation. Such a big deal, especially when you're killing those hit scans. Soldier dies, not first, but from the tire before he gets too much value in the mid fight. Really easy to walk in once the hit scans are pressured and dead.
The beat has to come in from Quasar just to save Imperi. The moment Imperi peaks, he just gets completely taken out. But then he gets the 2K of his own. Imperi stayed alive for long enough. Even though he was taking a lot of damage, gets 2 kills, but now everything looks like it's going wrong for Quasar. More than 2 kills are coming in from Cloud9. Make that 3, 4. Here comes the 5th. Nevi getting the fattest whole hog of his life, capping the point almost single-handedly for his team, and now pushing up to try to get some exit kills.
And I almost forgot about the pit, but thank you, Nevi, for reminding me. That is a big deal to watch out for. Gets the double kill just by pushing them off into that pit with his whole hog. Really big play there. I love environmental kills. It's just so much value. You don't have to waste the time chipping at someone's health. You can just push them off the map. Instant 200, 400, 600 damage.
This is so scary because both Justin and Crinkles do have their ultimates available, and then Krager showing why he's here, able to get the environmental kill onto Imperi, sucks him off the ledge. He's down and out. Crinkles popping the high noon, trying to just really bait the enemy team into making a bad decision, and there goes Joey getting taken out. I'm not really sure why he went for the hook there. It was a very greedy hook. He knew that the high noon was still active, walked directly into it, taken out, and the punishment is, it looks like Cloud9 is going to take the 3rd point of Nepal.
And that was much more convincing. I knew it was trouble as soon as we saw the double hit scan come out. You know when Crinks and Justin are on hit scan that they're either going to stick together and be unkillable, If they are jumped on, there's going to be so much damage. Plus, you have the McCree flashbang and the healing pad to kind of peel for yourselves. Or you build that crossfire where you get so much damage and you can't dive both characters. Just really, really big lose-lose scenarios there with the double hit scan. And I think we should have saw the swap to dive earlier, because with a slow-moving comp like that, you're very, very vulnerable to high hit scan damage. We saw even at spawn how much damage Justin was pumping in on the soldier into the upcoming team. I think Moira had almost no heals left because she's just healing out all that spam he's getting for free. He did almost 120 on Junkrat on the approach, more than 200 on Orisa. So such a big deal. If you don't deal with that hit scan early or avoid that damage, then you're going to get punished on approach, which is what happened. And it's just so hard to win that game when you're getting punished that hard.
Yeah, absolutely, Dancer. And, you know, it's been said a few times, we saw a lot of really, really strong play that came out from Quasar. You know, started to get a little bit wobbly there towards the end. But what does have to be said is, you know, Quasar was able to, you know, take some really, really confident team fights. The moment they got all of their legs walking into the same direction, they were able to take Cloud9. And what we saw from Cloud9 a little bit earlier, if you remember back on, you know, maps like Kings Row, right after Kings Row, obviously Kings Row was where Justin had that fantastic Hanzo and McCree game. What we saw is when Quasar was showing how confident they could be working together as a team, it really threw Cloud9 off their game. And Cloud9 was only able to be so dominant after that point once they got comfortable, once they dug into a good position and felt like they couldn't be toppled. That's when you saw Cloud9 able to pop off, get those picks, you know, get those 3, 4, 5Ks in. But Quasar was able to really, really shake him up there towards the mid games. So, you know, fantastic job by Quasar. And of course, they were being carried, not completely, but in large part. We got to give it to Flutter. Flutter is the MVP, I would say, of the night, but at the very least for Quasar.
100%. Flutter single-handedly gave them a fighting chance in Dorado. They had very bad team decisions to stay on bad hero picks, did not pressure Justin at all. Flutter was the guy to say, someone's got to do something about this sniper, and he did it, and he actually got the pick, not just the pressure. Among the countless amount of Zenyatta plays he had, where if he did die, he got 1 or 2 picks on the way out. I 100% agree with you. Flutter was playing his heart out. And I love to see that. I love to see a good healer main showing everyone who the boss is. And he actually gave Justin, one of the better tracers we know, a run for his money. Justin had a really hard time getting picks off on him. A lot of the time he did work, but definitely had to fight that uphill battle against that Zenyatta.
Yeah, it can't be said enough. Fantastic play that came in. And then, of course, you know, we saw Cloud9. You can't really pick an MVP. Their whole team was the MVP. They just played so well, so smart together. And then the individual performances really, really were able to shine because of that strong team play.
And little bit of early news for you guys here. We are having a giveaway to celebrate. Our community has grown to more than 500 members. We're really excited. We're really happy. Horizon's growing. That's what the goal of all of this has been. Our Discord, our Twitter, our Twitch, everything is about just making the community bigger and better, including more people and telling people about this awesome place we have. So to celebrate that, we're doing a 3 gift card giveaway. We got 3 cards of $20 going out, and that's going to be to any 3 random people. I'm telling you this early. Anyone that's here, you're a little bit rewarded. It's going to be posted in our announcements channel and on our Twitter, so make sure you follow. The links are below the channel, and that's going to be a giveaway that's open to everyone. You get 1 free ticket just for basically listening and knowing about it, and then you get extra for following our social medias. So that's a great announcement coming out to celebrate our HCC tournament and our growth of our community. And Arg, I'll hand it over to you for the sign-off.
Yeah, super exciting. So, in case anybody had missed the memo, remember Horizon Overwatch community. We have several different ways you can contact us. Remember, our Discord is open and available. We would love to have more of you here. If you like what you see on the channel, if you like what you're watching here on the Horizon Overwatch Twitch channel, please remember to follow us. You can see when we go live. Not only do we cast typically on Sundays and Tuesdays, but because we have gotten a few more casters due to our growing size, we're going to be opening that up a little bit more. Mondays are going to be coming in too. We have a few tournaments that are going to be coming up, which will be casted as well. You're going to see more high-level gameplay. So if you like what you're seeing and you want to support the show, drop us a follow. We always appreciate that. And if you really like the show and you want to support us and help us get bigger, help us create, better opportunities for everybody in the community, drop us a subscription as well. That helps us out so much, and it lets us know that you love us as much as we love this community. If you have any other questions, remember, of course, my name is Argander, and as always, I was joined today with my wonderful co-host, Answer. We appreciate you tuning in for the show. Thank you so much. Have a good night.